Hello, Coolman229 here with another Topic of the Week video. This week I'll be discussing the Netflix original series Stranger Things, more specifically, the infamous episode 7 of season 2. This week's topic was submitted by Tumblr user Just Absolutely Super, and her topic is your thoughts on Stranger Things season 2 episode 7. What did and didn't work with the storyline? And if possible, how could it have been rewritten? Alright, so, fair warning, spoilers for season 2 of Stranger Things. If you haven't seen it, then, go and watch it and then come back to this. But if you have seen it, or if you just don't care about spoilers, then, just keep watching, I guess. So, episode 7 is weird, in more ways than one. The basic idea of it is actually really good, and when it starts off, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that bad. Because the basic idea of it is that Eleven discovers, the identity and the location of someone else who was also in the experiments, the same ones that she went through. So she tries to find this person and connect to this girl, which, all right, I actually like the idea of that. Elle finding someone that went through the same thing she did, that's cool. A lost sister. But, execution was... It's not a badly made episode. I mean, it was just handled badly. Because one of the things that really annoys me about this is that during the season, Eleven had left the safe house that Hopper set up for her, and she ended up going to try to find Mike. She goes and sees him talking to Max, and immediately just goes super jealous, and then runs off. Which that was honestly kind of frustrating for me, and it really annoys me that she didn't just go and talk to Mike. But whatever. So she ends up going and finding her mom. Okay. But ultimately this amounts to nothing but her being led to episode 7. That's really all that amounted to. And then she goes and tries to find this girl. Now, alright. She goes and finds her, and and you see that they're basically, she leads a group of 80s, punk rejects, and they're all a bunch of weirdos. And I mean, her power is interesting, that she can psychically make people see anything she wants them to see. If she wants you to see a rhinoceros right there, boom, you're seeing a rhinoceros. And when Eleven first shows up, her group was about to, we're getting aggressive with her, and then then I think her name is Callie. I don't remember any of the names of the characters. It was a lot of these characters were just forgettable, but so she comes in and she realizes who this is, and she finds that there's someone else from the experiments, and we get probably the best moment in the whole episode where they just sort of connect. And she uses her powers to make Eleven see a butterfly. And that was a good moment. That was, I'm not going to lie, because at that point, I went into the season hearing episode 7 was terrible, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I mean, okay, I haven't seen it yet, because I was busy working on my videos, on previous topic videos, and I didn't watch the season immediately. But, so when I went into this, I was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, everyone always was hyping this up as being terrible, and I'm like, oh, this whole relationship is cute, alright. Eleven connecting with essentially like a sister, alright. And then it goes bad. It all goes south. Basically, this girl ends up poisoning Eleven, trying to force her to use her powers more, trying to basically manipulate her into staying in her group because she has, a lot of power. You end up realizing that this girl, Callie, I think her name was Callie. I'll be going with Callie. you find out that Callie was just super manipulative and cruel and sadistic and just honestly evil. She was poisoning 11. I was sitting there, I'm like, no, she's still developing her character. Geez, she was just, no. Leave the child alone. But, it all ends up, and another thing about this is that we see her ragtag group, and I think someone said it felt like they were watching the X-Men, you know, they come in, they introduce themselves. You know, it kind of felt like that. And yeah, I have to admit, it kind of does. I mean, you just give each of them powers and boom, you feel like you'd be watching an X-Men TV show, but no, it's just... It didn't feel like it fit into Stranger Things. Like, you have horror aspects. You have these, like, the eldritch abominations of the Upside Down. You have, honestly, some of it's just plain Lovecraftian. Then you have this mystery stuff, the government conspiracies, and then you have a bunch of punk kids in the city with their psychic leader, and it felt like it doesn't fit. That's one of the best ways to describe it. It felt like it didn't fit. And it just feels so weird, because if they took out, you know, the whole punk aspect, it might not have been as bad, but that's pretty integral to what's going on, because they're all a bunch of criminals. And they obviously try, the writers try to make these characters endearing in some way, shape, or form. But I just didn't connect with all of them, or with any of them. And I think that's probably because, one, they feel like they're all fulfilling different roles and different archetypes. You got the big dude, you got the, you know, the sneaky looking guy with the mohawk, and you have that one chick, and she I honestly don't remember her name or much about her. She was extremely forgettable, and it felt like they were just a bunch of generic characters. They felt like background characters that they were trying to push to the forefront. And while Elle is with them, they try to get her to assist in committing crimes. And not just any crimes, murder! Yes, because cold-blooded murder is what we really needed for Elle. Now, to be fair, she doesn't, you know, go out of her way to, you know, kill anyone. She's really not for it, but Callie wanted to get revenge on people who were involved in, you know, the Hawkins bullcrap, all that, you know, government conspiracy stuff. And they wanted to use Elle's power. She wanted to use Elle's power to hunt them down and murder them. So Elle does eventually end up helping them out. She's just naive because she's still learning how the world works. But ultimately they end up going to this one guy who personally hurt both of them. And Callie just wanted to brutalize him. She wanted to give him a slow, painful death. And you can understand why, but on one hand, you're basically just becoming them. You're only going to cause a cycle of abuse, where you hurt them, then they hurt you, so you hurt them, so then someone else is going to hurt you, you hurt them, and you're just going to keep causing all horrible things to happen. But of course, she didn't care. She wanted revenge. And they find out that this guy that they were hunting had 2 kids. Now, the rest of Callie's team, they bug out. They're like, okay, no, we're crossing the line. We're getting out. And I can respect them for that. Callie's just like, I don't care. And, Elle, kill him. Elle's just like, no. And she pulls out a gun, and thankfully Elle's just like, nope. And I like the fact that Elle took a stand against her there, and they ended up leaving. And oh my gosh, Callie's just so manipulative, making Elle see her papa. And, trying to force her to stay in. And, then Callie is just like, if you want to leave anytime, you can. Oh, yeah, she says that, but this isn't, just, you come in and you go whenever you want. No, this is freaking Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you could never leave. Callie was manipulating Elle. And even at the end, when they were escaping and Elle wanted to, leave, and then Callie's just like, your friends, they rejected you. We're the only ones who can give you a home. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, this is the person who wanted them, who wanted to say, oh, well, you can leave whenever you want. No. she's just a controlling psychotic person who has been so obsessive with her revenge that she has basically become the monster she wanted to fight. Which could have been an interesting storyline. It just, everything about this just felt wrong. And ultimately Elle ends up, going back to her friends, and then that leads into her ultimate return, and everyone, we get the, Mike and 11 reunion, and the episode was almost entirely pointless. The only things that mattered were her seeing Hopper, I think it was Hopper talking, and I want to say this is when she saw the vision of Mike, too. Yeah, because I think this is when Will had all that, bullcrap mind control thing going on with him, so she sees this and realizes, oh, wow, crap, my friends are in trouble. And if you had just had that happen when Elle was with her mom, you literally could have just skipped the entirety of episode 7 and you would not have lost anything. And honestly, if you just skip episode 7, you really wouldn't miss much of anything. You'd probably just be wondering why she's dressed the way she is. But, yeah. Overall, the episode had a good idea. But it failed because, I don't know, I guess it was just trying to be different. It was trying to be experimental, but frankly, it was a failed experiment. And honestly, I wish they just wouldn't go back to these characters at all, Callie and her group. I don't care about them. You establish a pretty significant cast in Hawkins. We have, the main kids, we have Max, we have Joyce, we have Hopper, we have Nancy, Jonathan, Steve. We have all these characters that we care about. We don't need to be introduced to a whole new group of characters that they try to characterize in a single episode. It's like, yeah, all these other characters we had a lot of time with. We've had 2 seasons with so far. I mean, shoot, Steve took an entire season just to be likable at all. So, trying to shove in a lot of this for those characters it didn't work. It felt rushed. It felt like it just didn't belong. And ultimately, that's really where it just didn't belong. It was thematically, it was story-wise, it was narrative-wise, out of place in Stranger Things. Now, if it comes to rewriting it, frankly, if I was writing it, I would just cut the episode. Like I mentioned, just have, when Elle's with her mom, she sees the thing with going on with, Mike, she sees Hopper. It's really, honestly, that if you splice those scenes into when she was psychically linked with her mom and just saw those and realized that, whoa, no, her true priorities are with her friends, not her comatose mother. Because that just ended up leading her to that Callie, and frankly, I just felt like she didn't learn anything. It was Elle taking a stand, yeah, I like that, but ultimately Callie was so unlikable and so bland and just so uninteresting that it didn't really feel worth it, Like when Elle takes a stand against her, father back in season 1, I think so, yeah. It's been a while since I've watched season 1, but, it's, when she took those stands, when she, protected everyone by flipping that van up. When she did that stuff before, it felt meaningful. These characters, they throw them in just in one episode and then they're gone. They were pointless. I honestly, but alright, if you told me that I had to write the episode, I would probably have written this, I probably would have just focused on Callie. Cut a band, cut the criminal stuff, maybe have her be just a normal person with these powers. That would probably be more interesting. Maybe she's terrified of the government, them finding her again, and she's been super incognito, just multiple aliases, and she's using her powers to trick people into thinking she's not there or something like that. Something that would probably be more endearing than her being a psychotic criminal. And then Elle stays with her for a little bit and maybe helps her kind of loosen up with her powers. And And then Elle gets these visions about what's going on with Hopper and going on with Mike. And then she realizes that, I have friends and family that I need to go back to. And then Callie would be like, go. And then it'd be probably one of those things where, okay, you would want to see Callie again. But another important thing is that I would honestly feature a lot more of stuff that's going on with all the main characters. Because that's another thing that really annoyed me, is just such a strong focus on these new characters. And I get it. They're only here for one episode. But the whole episode I was watching, I was thinking, I want to go what's happening with everyone else. I want to know what's going on with Jonathan and Nancy. I want to know what's going on with Mike. I want to know what's going on with Hopper. I want to know what's going on with Joyce. I really don't care about these characters. So I would, we just have rotate or alternate between Elle and Callie having these, conversations and, maybe kind of showing each other their powers and, meeting each other and becoming friends. And then, cutting back to everything that's going on in Hawkins so that, we kind of have a bit more of a connection of what's going on with everything else so that it doesn't feel so disjointed. And it would probably just be a simple episode, something not quite a breather episode, but something a little more light and maybe a little bit more fluffy than normal. Just sort of like a calm before the storm before you get into the last couple episodes of the season and things really it's the finale. But ultimately, I haven't really thought about it because mostly my instinct is just like cut it. But yeah, that's just the kind of ideas I would have for rewriting that. Overall, it was just not a good episode. It was too disconnected from the main story for us to care. It was featuring a bunch of new characters that no one cares about. We want to go back to single dad Steve, to Steve, single father of 4. We want to go back to what's going on with Hopper. We want to know what's going on with Joyce. We want to know what's going on with Mike. We don't care about these new characters. The tone of it felt off. It just felt like it didn't belong in Stranger Things. And yeah, because a part of the supernatural aspects of Eleven and Callie's powers, there was literally nothing. Not a location, not really characters outside of Eleven that really connected this to the story. Even Callie felt so disconnected from everything else that everything that would happen, everything that she was doing, it just felt like, why? And really, I guess that's all I can really say about this. I think I probably already said all the main points. It's just a bad episode. It was a dud. It was the great divide of Stranger Things. Because that was funny, because I was talking to a friend and she was telling me that's what she had in mind when she was watching the episode. It was like the Great Divide. It wasn't like absolutely mind-numbingly horrible. It was just, when you're used to this quality up here and then it goes boop, then it goes back up after that. It's just like, where did this come from? Yeah, and that's what it is. It's so self-contained that ultimately, if they ignored these characters, you wouldn't lose anything. And really, the episode was a failed experiment. And I hope they don't go back to this, and I hope that they learn their lesson. Because I know the Duffer Brothers even commented that episode just didn't work. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it to talk about for this one. So yeah, if you want to watch last week's topic video, you can check that out here. If you want to watch next week's topic video, you can check that out here when I get that done. Just make sure to, if you want to submit a topic to me, you can just comment below on YouTube, or if you're on Tumblr, send me an ask and do topic : and then whatever topic you want me to talk about. Just make sure to follow the rules I'll be posting down below. And thank you for watching.